We start with breaking news now at 9. D.C. firefighters working to put out a fire at a former firehouse in Northwest. You're looking at that scene from North Capitol Street off Florida Avenue. You see all the smoke billowing there and flames as well. Evacuations now underway at neighboring homes. We're told the building was under renovation at the time. Flames are also tearing through a 4-story building as part of a new complex attached to that firehouse. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight at 9. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Trent in for Thasmin Mahfouz. Crews say that there was actually a mayday call for a firefighter under distress here. You can see firefighters fighting on the outside right now. We're told that firefighter is okay. The building was evacuated, so crews, they are fighting these flames from the outside. You can see crews in that area. It is a large attack from the outside. We do have a crew on the way, and we're going to bring you live updates as soon as possible.
Yeah, let's get a check on the forecast now with meteorologist and for Chief Meteorologist David Matson. Unfortunately, it's not too bad out there right now.
Right, Damon, we're worried about the wind later in the weekend, but how's it looking at this point?
Yeah, at least for now here with that fire and any of the smoke that it creates, we should not see anything get blown around too much. There is a little bit of light wind. If anything, it's coming out of the west here in D.C., but largely you see all the other zeros on the map around the district. Yeah, winds have turned calm as we've gone into the overnight hours as we continue to see the very clear and calm pattern we have had for these last few days. So wind, not a big concern as we move into the night tonight. Now, temperatures out there too, well, they have cooled off after being in the low 60s this afternoon. We're down now into the 30s pretty much across the entire DMV. DC, Hagerstown, just a couple of locations still holding on to those temperatures in the 40s, and we should have another round of chillier air heading into your morning tomorrow, but it's not going to be as cold as it has been in recent nights. Temperatures just down toward the freezing mark, and there you have it. By mid-morning tomorrow, we're already warming up once again, easily back into the 40s, as it turns out to be another quiet and beautiful day tomorrow to kick off our weekend. But folks, things will be taking a very quick turn once we enter into the rest of the weekend, as we are expecting a nasty storm system to arrive here on Sunday. And for that being the case, we already have a DMV first warn day in effect as rain and wind will lash the DMV here. Now, when should we expect the worst of this storm system to arrive, and how much rain and wind are we talking? We'll have a full check of your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
New at 9 in Montgomery County, a judge has sentenced a Rockville man to 4 years in prison for a deadly drunk driving crash.
The crash happened last summer. Surveillance photo here you can see before the August crash shows that driver, Kevin Arguela, drinking at Pike and Rose in North Bethesda for brunch. Court documents say he drank 11 mimosas in just under 2 hours. After that, police say the 22-year-old got into his Audi and drove on Josiah Henson Park.
And that's where Orjuela crashed into the victim, Noel Powell, a security guard who was just getting off his shift for the day. Court documents say that Orjuela reached the intersection, floored it, sending his car speeding 70 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. Medical records show that his blood alcohol level was 0.14, nearly twice the limit, an hour after this crash.
Noel Powell, a husband and father of 2, died at the hospital. He worked for the security company for more than 15 years. Prosecutors say his only plan for that evening was dinner with his wife.
We turn now to the big story of the week, and that is the potential for new home for the Caps and Wizards and the ripple effects that this move could have.
Yeah, certainly. People living in Potomac Yard, they're raising concerns. They're wondering what their day-to-day life will be like if thousands of fans are coming in and out of their neighborhood each night. Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Max Marcilla joining us live to have a look at the excitement and also a lot of concern.
Right. So, Max, you've spent the night with people chatting with all of those folks that live in that area. I am certain that the reaction must be mixed here.
It really was. There were some people who said, look, we get to walk to see Alexander Ovechkin. That's pretty good. And then there were other people who, even if they were excited for that element, said there are a number of issues they have with this plan, especially on the roads, that they think ultimately it won't be worth it. For some people who live in Potomac Yard, the promise of a transformation of this land into a full-blown entertainment center is exciting.
There's a reason why Virginia is scaling up so quickly. and has been over the last 5 to 10 years.
Josh Baroni has lived here for just a few months, but sees a future a few years from now where he can get Caps season tickets. His optimism is not unique, but it certainly isn't unanimous.
If you're talking to people about how they're going to live their daily lives, cars are really involved in that for a lot of people.
VDOT estimates that nearly 75,000 cars travel Route 1 and the GW Parkway in Alexandria each day, and traffic issues are a major holdup for people who drive these roads not to get to a game, but to get to school, work, and run errands. Mayor Justin Wilson calls what was proposed a transit arena, with Metro playing a big role, but he admits right now the station isn't adequate. Baroni says this is a chance to turn this neighborhood into a more public transit-friendly place.
It actually would be really good for this area to move away from requiring cars to get in and out and around Alexandria and move towards public transit instead.
Meanwhile, neighbors tell us another major concern is parking, something Wilson says needs to be addressed.
We're going to have to do a whole series of neighborhood protection kind of things.
Those worries about parking, especially for one neighborhood just behind the metro station, where they say right now parking is essentially free for as long as they want after 5 o'clock. And they worry what it could mean for people coming from out of town to go to a game. Mayor Wilson, you heard, discuss some of the potential solutions to that. We also heard from people who said they're afraid that the character of this neighborhood could change. And one person in particular said they don't expect to still live here by 2028 if the project does move forward. Reporting live in Potomac Yard, Max Marcella, DC News Now.
Max, thanks. Meanwhile, the mother of a 6-year-old boy who shot his teacher out of Virginia Elementary School will spend 2 years in prison.
A judge sentenced Deja Taylor today on state child neglect charges. It was all in connection to that January shooting of Rich Neck teacher Abby Zwerner.
Yeah, Taylor received 5 years, but 3 were suspended. This is also on top of federal sentence that she already received on gun charges. Annie Fox has more tonight from her sister station.
Deja Taylor already serving 21 months. Now, after today, 2 more years on top of that, and her attorney not happy.
We think it was excessive, and I think there are guidelines for a reason, and I think the guidelines were adequate in this case, and I just respectfully disagree with Judge Papil.
Ellison spoke with his client after sentencing. She was disappointed and sad. The judge says he went outside the agreed-upon sentencing guidelines because Deja Taylor's level of neglect for her son for 6 years at the time of the shooting.
I don't think that took into account her being the victim of domestic abuse, her mental health issues, and the substance abuse.
We spoke with Deja's grandfather, who has custody of his now 7-year-old great-grandson.
What are you going to tell your great-grandson?
I'm going to have to tell him the truth, that mom's not coming home for a while.
I noticed tears in your eyes.
No, I'm angry. There's no tears. I'm just angry. I'm angry at the system. I'm angry at Newport News School Board. I'm angry at my granddaughter. I'm angry at everybody right now.
Abby, what did you think of the sentence?
We're not going to make any comment today, but thank you.
Zwerner would not speak after the hearing, but on the stand says she has limited motion in her hand. She suffers from PTSD. She's fearful. She can't sleep. Claims she's lost her purpose. And a great-grandfather has now become a dad to a 7-year-old.
My grandmother used to tell me things, and guess what? Sometimes I listened. So maybe Deja will listen now. I don't know. I hope she does.
Have you had communication with her?
No.
Is that intentional, or is she not talking to you, or?
I just haven't talked to her.
And that was Andy Fox reporting for us. Deja Taylor, meanwhile, the mother won't be able to make contact with her child until he's 18 years old. Right now, he's 7.
In Fairfax County, 2 people are hurt when a car crashed into a Ross store there at the shopping center. It happened at the Plaza Landmark in Laconia. Shoppers were told to evacuate, and they wouldn't let anyone inside the store once our crews got to the scene. One woman says that she was walking into the dollar store, which was right nearby, when the car zipped around and smashed into the glass.
He was speeding up into the store, and he something said, "Boom!" I thought I was going to have a heart attack. That's how it scared me. Because I'm getting ready to go into the dollar store. You know, and the way he came, It scared me. I could have been dead.
Officials say the two people hurt had minor injuries, and we did reach out to police about what led up to this crash and whether the driver will face any charges. We'll be sure to bring you all of the updates as soon as we get them.
And a reminder tonight that starting Monday, Metro Red Line service will be suspended for 2 weeks between DuPont Circle and Gallery Place. Now, this only affects Red Line service. Metro will make free shuttle bus service available from those stations to Metro Center. Well, Mana says they chose this time of year to make repairs because there tends to be fewer riders.
Pregnant women will have more access to maternal health care in Prince George's County. They're expanding access with a new labor and delivery center.
Our reporter Yamari Sase sat down with a county council member who just had her baby a month ago to learn the impact this new center could have on new moms.
It is the best thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Being a mom to baby Ezra has become Prince George's County Council member Crystal Urieda's favorite thing. But the journey wasn't easy.
Yeah, it was just a hard pregnancy. Like a lot of women of color, especially my age, I didn't feel seen or heard. They didn't register that I was really in pain. And so I ended up being in 10 hours of active labor and they didn't know it. It was traumatic.
Urieda's story is one of many across the state of Maryland. In Prince George's County, nearly 8 out of 10 expecting mothers deliver outside the county. And according to PGC Health Zone, maternal mortality is 50% above the national average.
I realize that that's a lot of what Black women face, where their pain is just not heard, where they're not listened to, and they're just not provided the right type of care.
This week, Luminous Health in Lanham was approved to build a family birthing center to meet a growing need and increase access. The facility is expected to open in 2028, and maternal advocates like Urieta have some expectations.
We also have to make sure that the quality of services, the training, and the accountability is there to make sure we're getting what we actually deserve.
The goal? To save the life of a mother and her baby.
Because if you're building a facility right here in Prince George's County where it has a high number of women of color, especially Black women, we have to ensure that the quality of services here and the training matches that.
Reporting in Lanham, I'm Yamari Sase, DC News Now.